Yeah, there's very little differentiation with branding and cannabis, and it's painful because these operators are working on very thin margins, and it's man, they have it tough, and to just kind of, and a lot of them, their internal processes are an absolute mess, and in reality they're probably struggling just to keep their product on shelves. But the ones who are dialed in and who do have amazing products and are just fumbling the branding, and it's a marketing issue too. I think that's, when and a good example of this is you go onto a typical dispensary website and everything you read is about the operator. They've if you want to engage a target audience, you need to make the story about them. They need to be the hero of the story, and your product or service is the guide to help them achieve specific goals. That's how you gain relevance. That's how you give audiences what they crave, by talking about the subject they have the most vested interest in is themselves. But
Do you
again,
get
you can't do that if you're too broad.
do you get a sense of on what some of those themes might be that folks would really resonate with? I think
Like,
of Go
yeah.
ahead.
Well, again, we talked about primary target audiences a minute ago, and positioning your website for that. But just talking about different themes, this is where brands, if they know how to do it, can experiment with secondary target audiences based on the stuff they're getting from talking to their current customers. They can, by intelligent design, create low-hanging fruit experiments to see if they can grab these people. How do you do that with landing pages? Okay, use it instead of a home page, a landing page designed to position this target audience as the hero. And examples of that could be, bored suburban housewives, or creatives, professional creatives, or
Athletes,
entrepreneurs.
I've seen some sticky athlete oriented things these days, now that you mention that.
And what about couples or
Intimacy,
relationships?
sure.
And like, you could even get into like, this is really niching down, but it's worth experimenting with, because it doesn't cost much to experiment. But like, uh, parents connecting with their adult children through cannabis. Like, there's something to be said about experiencing cannabis with someone you care about, and how it can bring you closer together. And there's so
I
many different ways you could play with this.
I did.
And
Oh, I'm
go
sorry.
ahead, doctor.
I did see one marketing piece that looked pretty well written to me. And who are potential clients, purchasers really trusting when it comes to learning about the cannabis experience? And you mentioned one, which is the children of elderly folks who's maybe, and they're adults themselves with their own kids, and maybe mom or dad or auntie or grandma has arthritis and is obviously, it is taking a toll and nothing is working for them, and they are interested in them giving it a try. That's one. And then you mentioned really niching down. I think that caregivers, not necessarily even skilled on the nursing or nurse assistant level, but just folks that are coming into homes and helping move the patient, get them up, get them to the shower, get them to, those folks. I know because we have a family member and who her caregiver is there, I think 30-40 hours a week, if I'm not mistaken. So that is a sub niche that could really be targeted, that if they really were understanding or discussing, that people really trust. Anyway, I'll kick that back
Yeah,
to
and
you,
and,
Gregory.
and to build on that thought, that the cool thing about really niching down like that is when you have such clearly defined parameters, these people are groups of people are suddenly much more straightforward to reach. And you, of course, yes, like we talked about, you need to understand their questions, their concerns, their goals, all that. And so you can make them the hero of your messaging.